Yeah, that's great. Good. Hey, Anna, how are you? Bethany, good to see you all. Nina, Sam, Steve Hodgkiss, it's good. Troy, good to see you. Werner, good to see you all, guys. Sandy, it's good to see you. How's it in Holland, Annika? I guess you've got that heavy storm coming up the channel tonight. I guess it's a bit stormy there, is that right? Just looking on the, hi Troy, just looking on news tonight, it's not looking good over there. Yeah, oh that's good, that's good. For those of you that don't know, there's a big storm surge that we're having coming down the English Channel tonight, and a lot of the low-lying land is going to be flooded. And here in the UK, I know in Netherlands as well, there's going to be a bit of a problem tonight with flooding. There's a high tide, and everything's right for a perfect storm. So let's hope it's scary stuff. Yeah, you're right, Annika. It's real scary. Just 2 seconds. Just get my dog in. He just knocked at the door. I'll be with it. There you go. Right. Hey guys, right, is everybody ready? Super! That's, yeah, North Holland coast, yeah. Oh, that's good. Okay, that's great. That's good news. Scary stuff when you start hearing about flood water and problems like that, particularly on low-lying ground. Well, it's great to have everybody here tonight. Just a small crowd. It's the people that are here, the diehards, the diehard group. It's good to see you all here. Well, you probably guessed that today we launched Norman, and I'm so excited. And for those of you that perhaps don't know me, and for any guests on this evening, you're in for a real treat, you really are. My name is Paul Smith, I'm one of the co-founders and co-directors of an amazing company, and we call it TAN. That stands for the Advertising Net, T-A-N, the Advertising Net. And it's one of our friends, Peter, a guy called Peter, that was in the business, and he's still in the business, and lives out in California. He rang me up one day, he said, Paul, why did you call it the Advertising Net? Why don't we call it TAN? And that's where the abbreviation came from Peter, good friend of ours. Hey Andrew, it's good to see you here as well. So TAN was born, and that's the name we call it by. So when we got started with the company and putting the company together, we wanted to create a company that was here for the duration, and I cannot stress how important that is. Only tonight I was looking on the internet at a company that is just been around for a few weeks, and when you actually look at it and you actually look at the structure of it, you just know that it's going to be not going to be here in a few weeks' time, and you just know that the people that are getting into it right now are going to be disappointed when one day they'll turn on their computer and go to the website and it's just not there any longer. And the reason for that is that an awful lot of the online type opportunities that are around right now, and there's new ones opening up every day, don't have an awful lot of thought put in behind them, and they just spring up out of nowhere. A few people get excited about earning some quick money, and they're as fast as they appear, they disappear just as fast. And myself and a lot of people that I've been working with over the last few years have all experienced this situation where you can get into a company and it literally, it just implodes. The last one that I was in that did this was in 2009, and it was a $10 deal. And probably most of you joined it. And I can remember the marketing around it, the excitement, the energy, and everybody got so excited. And then they did this pre-launch, and there was literally 30 or 40,000 people ready to jump into this thing. And then about the time this thing was going to kick off, another one kicked off, which was almost a replica of the first one, with another bunch of guys, which had effectively knocked off that business. And they set that one up, and there's these two deals going at the same time, and they were just $10 deals. Well, I got involved in this, and I've got a big list of people, a lot of people. And I can remember personally sponsoring about 150 people into it. And they used to have a leaderboard on the front of the site with the leaders that are sponsoring all the people. Some people were like sponsoring 700 and 800 people, and it was crazy stuff. But this company actually grew to over 100,000 people in about 3 weeks. And the whole idea of it was that you was in a 4x4 matrix, and you filled the first matrix up, and then the software moved you into the second matrix. So of course, that never happened. And nobody ever made a lot of money out of it, because you can't make a lot of money out of $10. Well, it left a lot of sort of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and a lot of people lost a lot of credibility, me being one of them. And I've fallen for the old trick in the book that you go to work with these things, and you bring a lot of people in, and everybody gets excited, and everybody ends up with nothing, just a bad feeling in their mouth. And that's really where we were when we decided to sit down and start thinking about putting something constructive together, something that's going to be here for the duration. And with that in mind, we started looking at all the options. And when you actually look at ways to make money, there's only a few real secure ways to do it from what I call a point of view of a pay plan. And the pay plan is everything. And what a lot of people don't realise is that the average person, and I really do mean this, the average person hasn't, what I call, got the way about them to be able to sponsor a lot of people. And it's always been like that. And, you think about it, you think, well, why is it so few people can actually really crack it? And when you actually look at these companies, these big companies that make a lot of money and they're successful companies, there's only usually a handful of people that really get the top pins and get the top checks. And it's not even the 1%. It's like a fraction of the 1% that actually achieve superstardom within these companies and with their pay plans. And the reason that is because a lot of these companies and a lot of these pay plans are designed in such a way where the average person it's just not going to happen. And so our industry is bogged down with failure. It's failure in every company you look at. And all of these companies, they have the same problem. And I've been around this thing for 23 years, so it's not as if I've just been around it for a few years. I've been 23 years in the industry, and I've studied, and I've watched, and I've seen what people have done, and I've had huge success. And I've also had huge disappointment and huge failure. And I just said this little thing, a $10 thing we did in 2009, it literally lasted just a few weeks. And there I had my name on the leaderboard as one of the guys that was sponsoring a lot of people. Well, sure I did. But out of the 100,000 people that joined that opportunity, only a few people got their name on the leaderboard. And there's very good reason for that. And so when you actually look at the reason why this is how it is for the majority of people. The majority of people just fail dismally at this industry. You've probably sort of listened to me talk about this on this webinar, thinking to yourself, well, am I one of those people? Well, that's why we built TAN. We built TAN to kind of readdress this problem, to readdress the problem of the majority of people failing. And when people sort of get into TAN, they join our business and they see this fantastic pay plan and they see all this money that's available. And they think to themselves, how the heck am I ever going to get there? And that is the problem. And I know, Annika, you're on the webinar tonight, and I've spent some time with you and your family. I've been in the car with you. We've met each other many, many times. And I know how hard you work. I know how hard the people that you've brought into your business have worked. And you sort of scratch your head and you think, why is this not working? Why is my business not working? And there's real reason for it. And the reason is that the vast majority of people that get into these businesses don't really understand what they're actually getting into. And TAN has exactly the same problem. Now, our company is no different from any other company out there. I mean, it's got a great pay plan, and we're definitely here to support us and help you. But at the end of the day, we've got to give you the right tools and the right system to be able to sell it to other people. Now, when I started learning about systems and learning about what I call funnel systems, and I learned exactly how you can get a lot of people into a system, and then the system does the work for them. I suddenly found out But that was the key. And that breakthrough for me was in 2006. So in 2006, I was able to create a funnel system. Can you excuse my dog? Just have it. He's running around in his basket trying to get comfortable. Well, in 2006, we were able to create a system that was able to duplicate everybody's efforts. And a lot more people had success using a generic system than working independently with just like a capture page and a web page. And when we built our system the first time round, we put it on the front of this company, and we had phenomenal success with it. I mean, it was incredible success. We suddenly realised that you could take the average person, give them a system, and their odds of actually succeeding and winning was even greater than working as an individual, okay? And that is the key to having success when you're working online with a kind of a technical type service and product we have with TAN marketing. So when we brought TAN together, we realised that what we needed to do, we had to get the company set up right, we had to get the pay plan right, we had to get the product services right, we had to get all the pay systems right, we had to get everything right before we move to the next stage. Because it's no good just putting this fancy marketing system on the front end with nothing to back it up. And so what you guys are part of right now is where the company now has got everything right at our end, so we can support the growth of the company. Now we can put the marketing on what we call the front end of this thing and get this right. And that's where Norman comes in, and that's where TAN Banners comes in, because there's a second thing. The people that make a lot of money out of these pay structures, and we use a matrix as a really, really good example. The matrix is probably the best structure from a point of view of forcing success for the average person. Because ours is a 4 wide, and the way the system works, it means by people who can put a lot of people in, it means that it forces people down into the structure. And obviously the company's just got like 4 legs. Well, Meet Norman is right at the top of those 4 legs, and that's kind of me. So here I am at the top with these 4 legs underneath me, just like you've got 4 legs. And so what we did is we realised is to make this thing work, we needed to put a system in which could actually pay and get people earning money relatively easily. And that's why we use what we call a reverse two-up system on the front end. And this is what makes TAN so unique. See, there's lots of systems out there, and they'll use one company for doing what they call a front-end feed, and they'll use another company to put everybody into the residual. Well, we realised that if we put it all under one roof and plugged it all together, then that was the way to go forwards with this. So by putting TAN Banners on the front end and putting the feeder on the front, it means people can start earning money and get confidence that the system works, and then obviously they can follow through and go into TAN marketing, into the matrix. And this is where Meet Norman comes from. Because what we've done, and this is the clever bit, the bit that you don't see, is the bit behind the system, and that's the systems all built and plugged in together, so it's all linked in. So it's a little bit like laying bricks on one another. The bricks lay over each other. The whole thing is locked together, really, really solid. So when you sort of join, and you're brand new, you don't know nothing about this whatsoever, you just go on to Meet Norman, and you put your details in, and you put your John Brown, and you put your email address and whatever you put in, and you log in, right? Okay, so you've logged in, and now you've got an account with Meet Norman. Now, the beautiful thing is, you've landed on somebody's Meet Norman site. Now, because everybody's using the Meet Norman site, it means that people can't go what we call sponsor shopping. And this is so important, because your site, whether it's Annika's site, or it's Troy's site, or it's Nina's site, they're all the same sites with the same message on. And this is what's so clever about the whole thing. So the more people that start marketing the Meet Norman system out onto the internet and get it out onto Facebook and into the Facebook groups, are going to start creating curiosity. Now, somebody might see Meet Norman tomorrow for the very first time. They might look at the page, well, that's like interesting. And then somebody else posts that's the same page in another group, And that same guy sees it a second time and thinks, that's interesting. Well, by the time he's seen it 3, 4, perhaps even 5 times, he's going to say, I need to take a look at this. And that's how these systems work. So it's not about banging it out there once. You've got to get out there, putting your Meet Norman site out onto social networking is fantastic for this. I mean, the success that we're going to have with this is going to be phenomenal. It really is. But what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody putting their Meet Norman site out onto the Facebook groups and getting it exposed to the masses. What's going to start happening is that we're going to probably take about 3, 4, 5 days before you're going to start seeing things propagated and start to work properly. Now, what you've got to visualize is that there's perhaps only 100 people that are going to Meet Norman account at the moment, but perhaps in a week's time it'll be 1,000. And then perhaps in 2 weeks' time it'll be, say, 5,000, and then 10,000, 20,000 people. Well, guess what? If you're in the first few hundred that are putting that information out, you're going to get the benefit. Now, this is the beautiful thing about this. When that person signs in, the system is going to, if you go through the system, for those of you that have been on the system, to see how it works and how we designed it, but the system actually puts them straight into your Tam Banner's business first. And then he tells them to do something else, and that's following you into the matrix. So he secures a position in the matrix, and his third job to do is to go out there and market Meet Norman. So all of a sudden you've duplicated yourself. Now, what this means is, the average person can have extraordinary success. Now, as I did this in 2006, and it worked phenomenally well. We had people who couldn't build a business, building a business, and it was so exciting because the system worked for the masses. Now, coming back to Meet Norman, what I want to get across to everybody is you haven't got to be a rocket scientist, okay? All you've got to do is to learn how to market the link, your Meet Norman link. And as you start marketing that Meet Norman link, as I say, the numbers are going to start working for you. So perhaps if you did, say, 50 postings a day, okay, on Facebook groups, you might do 500. Depends how active you want to be. But for those of you that start posting and getting Meet Norman out, what you're going to find is you're going to find this kind of build-up. It's going to be like a bit like a wave. You know, it starts building and it's building and it crashes up, crashes up onto the beach. And that's how these systems work. So I can't tell you how important it is, but I can see what's going to happen. As we start promoting and pushing out Meet Norman over the coming days and coming weeks, this is going to get very, very exciting. And you're going to see an awful lot of people joining the business. And you will make sure that you're getting your share of the people that are going to be looking at Meet Norman. And there's going to be a lot of people. Only tonight, I had one of my guys, somebody I know quite well, has called me up, and he's just before this webinar was, and said, look, Paul, I need to talk to you in the morning. And he's seen our link, he's seen it on my wall, and I know he's caught his attention. I shared it with somebody this afternoon, somebody else I know quite well, and I actually sent the link across to him, and he's just completely blown away with it. Well, the next stage for Meet Norman is putting video on, and we're getting Norman put into animation, and we get a nice voice for Norman, and you're going to see Norman with video and doing all the things that Norman's going to be doing over the coming months and coming years, because Norman's going to be basically leading our team around the world, and that's what's going to be happening. So we're going to take a completely different approach to this, and I thought long and hard about making this decision to do this, but ultimately I came to the decision, why don't we do something completely different from everybody else? Because everybody else just markets the same old. We thought if we can take this character and build a story around this character and then expose them to the masses, then people will start taking an interest in what Norman's doing. So, for example, we've created a live Twitter account for Norman, and we'll create a Twitter feed, a Facebook fan page. All these things are going to be created to create interest in Norman and get more and more people coming to your sites. So the name of the game is don't be shy with your postings. You've got to get Norman out there with your links on. And the more you promote Norman, the higher the chance is that that person is going to land on your site. And of course, when he lands on your site, he's going to join you in the Tam Banner business, and then the system's going to take him through and put him in your matrix as well. And it really is a win-win situation. So this is going to be really, really exciting for all of us. We've stopped the situation of signing him into one business and then getting him on the phone and explain to him how he gets into TAM marketing. All that's gone. The system will do it completely seamlessly for everybody. And that's what I'm so excited about. So really the message on this webinar tonight is to get out there. So for those of you that are just getting started in town marketing and town banners, what an exciting time it really is. For those of you that have just been in a few weeks or just a few months, you have got in right at the right time, because we didn't, and Annika will tell you this, we didn't have any of this 12 months ago. And as you can see, you go onto the banner site, that's improving dramatically. There's a lot of work going on the banner site. You're going to see a lot of work going on to the town marketing site, and you're going to see the Norman site perfected and perfected and perfected. And that's going to be the bulk of my work. It's going to be spent in developing the funnel system and creating a storyboard for Norman and what we're going to be doing in Norman. And on top of that, doing all the other things I do in the form of support and helping and teaching and training. So we've got a full-on job here to help you guys get really good results. And it's not down to how good you are sponsoring, it's how good you are at getting your link out there onto the internet. And that's what I want to get across to everybody tonight in this webinar. I cannot stress how important it is. I want to repeat this again. It's not about trying to sponsor, keep a few people. It's getting your business exposed, and the more exposure you get, the more people can be clicking on your site and getting involved in your business, and that's what it's really all about. So hopefully that's helped you a little bit about Meet Norman and how that's going to work. And I just want to touch on one more thing as well, and I touched on this on Tuesday night, but for those of you that weren't on the webinar, I really want to touch on this big time. We're in the month of December, and one of the reasons we put Norman up now is because it's a good time to put him up. We wanted to put him up when people have got time on their hands. And we will find at Christmas time there's a lot of people around that aren't at work, because a lot of people will have a 2-week break over the Christmas period. And that means they've got spare time on their hands. And I've always found that the best time I've had for sponsoring people, getting people involved in the industry, is when people have got spare time on their hands. And there's a lot of people that can start getting bored. Christmas is, it soon sort of comes along. You have 2 or 3 days of high activity days, and then you've got a lot of time sort of, on your hands, wondering what you're going to do with the rest of the time you've got on your holiday. And it's a tremendous time for sponsoring people. So this is a really good reason for you to get your word out, because can you imagine if you've got 20 or 30 people in your team marketing with Meet Norman over the Christmas period, what's going to happen? It's going to be absolutely fantastic for everybody. So what I want to urge everybody to do is to really get out there and get the system out there, get it working, getting some opt-ins coming in, and then getting those people involved in your business, so that when we do hit the Christmas period, you're going to hit it running. And I cannot stress how important that is. I know myself personally, I've set myself a goal, a personal goal, to put in excess of 100 personals over the next 8 weeks, okay? It's a personal goal I want to do. It's just that I love sponsoring people, and I'm going to go out and do it, okay? And just to sort of lead the pack, as it were, a little bit, because it's time we lifted the sort of level of activity in our business. And I often say that a group of people go at the speed of a leader. So I'm going to be out there pushing it, okay? And I'm pushing it big time. And so, it's going to help you, because the more I push it, because I'm just going to be pushing the same pace as what you are, it's going to help you guys. Remember, the more people that see the advert, the more people are going to hit your page. And it becomes a bit of a lottery in actual fact, because somebody sees that advert, they don't know whose site it is they're going on. All they see is the link, okay? And that's really, really, really important. And another thing as well, this is important, is that if you are working on Facebook, make sure you get your Facebook profiles up to snuff, yeah? You want to put yourself a good kind of profile together on Facebook, so that when people go onto your page, they're going to look at you and see what you do. And, I look at some of the people's pages on Facebook, and, I can see that they haven't put a lot of effort into putting that Facebook page together. So spend a bit of time getting your Facebook pages up to snuff. Put a good profile in about yourself. Get yourself. So when people go on there, they can see that you are, not just somebody who's just playing with it. Yeah, that you're serious, and that is really, really, really important. So that when people sort of hit your link, perhaps I see you on Facebook, they hit your link, they're going to check you out as well. And if you've got a good CV, as it were, then they want to be with you. So it's very, very important to put yourself up as somebody that's really serious about your business. And I want to give you just one little pointer here, okay? I always look at people's Facebook pages before I even accept them as friends, okay? And there's a reason for that. Because a lot of people who are on Facebook are what I call MLM junkies. And they're probably in 5 or 6 deals, okay? Many of them people are. And the reason they're in 5 or 6 deals because they're not even in one deal that actually works. And so they spread themselves around thin on the internet, all these different business ops. And you don't be doing that, okay? You want to get yourself really focused, okay? You want to get yourself laser focused. Now, you might have a good primary business you're in right now. That's great. But if you're marketing Meet Norman and marketing Tan, you want to get really serious about it so people can see it when they go on your Facebook page that you are what you are and you're not kind of playing with it, because people want to get sponsored by people who are what I call serious. And that is really important information I'm sharing with you right now. Myself, I only ever market one business at a time. I've never been one of these guys that's been in 2 or 3 deals. Never, ever. I've only ever been in 4 real deals, okay? And that's one of them I just spoke about earlier on. But the 3 ones that I was in before that, I treat them really seriously. And that's the difference between winning and losing. And I cannot stress how important that is. Now, I understand a lot of people, are coming from other businesses and coming to Tan, and that's great. But if you're serious about really building it, you want to get really serious and get really focused. Because the more serious you are, the more focused you are, the more likely you are to have success. And that's a little bit of a pointer just for those of you that are marketing on Facebook. And it's something that I'm very aware of. And I often say to people, well, if you're in another deal, that's great. And I don't really badger them. When I've got somebody that I want to sponsor, I always find out what business they were in last, or why they want to get out of that business and come across to our business. And you'll always find that when you sponsor somebody really good, they're prepared to throw everything into it when they come. They're not going to play with it. And that's the sort of person you're looking for. And there's a lot of disillusioned people out there right now that are in deals that just aren't working for them. And so they're looking for something. And you're only going to get talking to 1 or 2 of these people. And this is where the Meet Norman system is really going to come into its own. Because I know that when those kind of people come on to Meet Norman and come onto that system and they go through it, they're going to go through those pages and think, gee, somebody's done some work here. Somebody's laid this thing out properly. There's somebody out there knows what they're doing. And that's what Meet Norman's all about, okay? And I'm going to get that site so darn good. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. And we're going to get it really up to snuff so that I know that anybody can go on that site, look at it, and think, yeah, I want to get involved in this business. I want to get involved with this company, and I want to get working with this system. And that's what we're going to do for you from the company's point of view. We're going to get this thing so darn good that it will do 99% of the work for you. And I cannot stress, I'm repeating myself again, but I cannot stress how important that is. So with that, I'd like to thank you for being on this webinar tonight. I've had a huge amount of fun sharing this information with you. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a huge day. I'm going to really push this out. It's going to be a lot of Meet Norman pushed out from this end. I've got Fiona on the case. I've got a lot of people I want to share this with, and we need to get this machine and get this system out in front of a lot of people. So with that, I'd like to thank you for being on this webinar. We're going to be around all over the weekend, working Norman and working the system. And I'll be back on a webinar on Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. GMT and 3 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday with probably an update of what's been happening and what's going on in the business. But it's going to be an exciting time. And one more thing, we've just opened up tonight a Facebook group room for support. It's a support room. It's not a team building room. It's a support room for Meet Norman. If you've not got into the room, get in there. Most of the guys are in there now, the leaders. Get yourself in that room as a support room, okay, guys? It's going to be purely for support and for bringing people along who want to find out and get their questions answered. And I'm going to be pretty much in there, most of the time that I'm online. So I'll be there to help you all, and it's purely for support and introducing new people to Meet Norman. So that's a Meet Norman room on Facebook, which is just opened up this evening. So with that, I'd like to thank you for being here tonight, and get word out, get all your teammates on with the Meet Norman, and I'll see you in the Facebook room tomorrow. And again, if you want to speak to me on the phone, I'm around, or you want to sort of have a three-way or whatever you need me to do, I'm here to help you guys. So with that, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow on Facebook. Good night, everybody.